All right, so who should you be following and listening, or who do I personally follow and listen to and watch all their content on YouTube? I'm gonna go ahead and reveal exactly that, right? I've been getting tons of questions of, hey Samir, you know, what books do you read? What authors do you personally favor? Or what content creators do you listen to most? And that's a real good question, but honestly I would say, it all depends. And before I go ahead and share like my top 5, I would say, by the way, we're at my place right now, or at our place, the Ecom Trap House, getting cuts because time is money. And I would rather have my boy TJ come through to the spot, knowing that he's a pro, rather than go into a barbershop and wait for like 2-3 hours and then, all to be disappointed at the end. So, but besides the fact, you guys should check out the app Shortcut. I'll have a link below actually, so we can both get $5 off. Where's this app located? LA, Miami?
Yeah, LA, Miami, San Fran, Vegas, Florida, and all over Florida. It's
boom.
Everywhere.
So pretty much like all the main cities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all the main cities give you guys $5 off your haircut. Put a link below. Yes, it's an affiliate code, but who cares, right? You get $5 off, I get $5 off. One thing I want to share with you guys, like I said before I go ahead and give you my top 5 people that pretty much consume either all their content or really try to keep up as much as possible. I want you guys to understand that it all depends on what it is that you're really trying to learn, what stage you're at in your life, and pretty much like what you're trying to accomplish, right? So kind of backtrack like 2.5, maybe even 3 years ago when I was still in college. At that point in time, I wasn't really trying to learn how to scale a business or how to hire people or outsource or anything like that. I was mainly just focused on, changing my mindset, right? Because growing up in Algeria until I was like 9 years old and then moving to America, my family's like first generation here. So one, they didn't really understand anything about, how the American dream works, how finances really worked out here. And pretty much how you can go from 0 to, full-fledged entrepreneur if you choose to. So really I had to like literally just recondition my mind, right? So that's all I was listening to. It was like law of attraction, mindset videos, and those people, or the people that I consumed the most content when it came to that, is like guys like Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, you got Brian Tracy, you got Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn is one of my favorites till this day, and they all are. I still consume all their content till this day, even though some of them are no longer around, or they just stop putting out too much content. Especially Bob Proctor as well. He's still pumping out heavy content despite his age. But I think really the reason why Bob Proctor is still crushing it is mainly because he's been able to adapt to today's technology and platforms. So he's still cranking and he's still alive. But again, right, at that point in time in my age and in my journey, I was just focused on just reconditioning my mindset, right? That's step 1, I feel like. People sometimes get stuck on, the whole law of attraction and, just pretty much the idea or the facade, literally the facade of sitting on your couch and just imagining things happen and checks coming in the mail and just fat disappearing off your body or whatever it is. And you got to understand that's a facade, right? Just like a reality that doesn't really exist. It just looks like it's possible because the person you're listening to has all the credibility and the authority, so they're telling you that it's totally possible, but they are just feeding into the idea that most people in this world are just super lazy. And if you sell them that dream, they're just gonna buy into it all the way. But then you start as you start developing and just really listening from other people, other mentors and stuff like that, and you keep growing, you start to realize that law of attraction is literally only step 1. The best way that I can put it, I was actually talking about this with a guy named Jonathan, and he had the same, problem when he was starting off, because he was only listening to law of attraction videos and courses and only reading those kind of books and stuff because just gave him that hope. But then he realized that the law of attraction, all it really does is just help you focus in on what it is that you want, so that way you can give it more attention, right? Because, and he gave a really good example, it's like law of attraction is, I'm sitting here and I'm saying, hey, I'm looking for the best barber in the game. I'm looking for the best barber around. And so for the next, couple days or whatever, as long as I keep that in mind. It's like I'm walking down the street and I see somebody with a really nice haircut, one of my buddies with a really nice haircut. I'm like, hey, where'd you get that haircut from? Who gave it to you? You know, he'll give me a barber. Or maybe they'll even refer me to this app right here. And then, you know, I find TJ because he has the highest ratings, you know, in the area. So that's what the law of attraction is. Same thing when it comes to, or the same way it works when, you know, you're looking for money-making opportunities. You know, all of a sudden that stays on your mind and all these different money-making opportunities start happening. And this is a really great transition over to, like, let's say my second phase, I guess, which is when I literally started looking for money-making opportunities that, you know, once I learned about the law of attraction and how to kind of use it to my benefit, I started practicing it a lot and just, you know, becoming more aware of how it works and what it can really do for me. I started looking for money-making opportunities, and then literally one day my buddy comes into my dorm room and he was like, dude, I'm going door to door selling this product right here and I'm making a killing. And I was like, dude, this is unreal, because that's all I've been thinking about is a new opportunity to make money, because I really don't want to be in school no more. And then I dove right into it. Like, I literally just took full advantage of the door-to-door sales job, got right into it, actually convinced my college to let me live in my dorm room, literally sold them on it. And so as I'm in my dorm room going door to door, and it was like snowing, I remember it was like winter time, right around this time of year. Yeah, right around this time of year. You know, in Boston, it's like, you know, snowstorms and blizzards all over the place. But once that happened, the people or the content that I consumed started, you know, changing. I wasn't really too focused on the law of attraction and stuff like that. One, because I had grasped the overall concept of it. And some people try to go super deep into it and, you know, get like all crazy with it and just become self-help junkies in the law of attraction phase. But then I realized, hey, look, I got the concept of the law of attraction. Then now I got to pivot, right? Now I have to pivot to equip myself with the right information and knowledge so that I can actually make money on this opportunity that I got. And a lot of people don't make that shift, right? So it's like, once I got the door-to-door sales opportunity, I was like, okay, now I got to learn what sales is all about. That's what I started, you know, studying. So then automatically I got a hold of Grant Cardone. And I would say 80% of the content that I was consuming was strictly Grant Cardone. One, because he's like the present day master of sales, and I'll give him that for sure, 100%. And so that's all I consumed. And, you know, there was some other people, you know, books that I read by Tom Hopkins. I actually ended up going to one of his seminars. And then, you know, Brian Tracy again, Zig Ziglar. You got guys like Tony Robbins who also do sales and persuasion. So that's really the type of content that I was on at that point. And it wasn't really much of, you know, the law of attraction anymore, right? So for those of you guys that are either getting, you know, a new job, or, you know, you're using the law of attraction to attract, like, you know, the right, I don't know, the right partner, the right girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever it is. It's like, once you get that person in your life, now it's like, how do you keep them, right? So you got to learn the skill sets necessary to, you know, keep that partner happy, you know, keep a healthy relationship, instead of just worrying about, you know, law of attraction. Because like Grant Cardone said this to me, he says the law of attraction is all fun and stuff, but really what gets you paid is the law of action, the law of taking actual action. That's what gets you paid, you know. So I can sit in my dorm room all day and just imagine these people, these clients calling me and saying, hey Samir, I want your product, but it doesn't work like that, right? So it's like, okay, well, what does work? I got to skill up in sales. I got to skill up in my persuasion skills and my cold calling skills. Go out there, make it happen. Like, actually close those deals, get in front of the right people. So Grant Cardone, right? Like I said, I guess that could be the first one on the list right there. 100% consume. I'll say the majority of his content for sales and persuasion. For the person on law of attraction, I would say a lot of Earl Nightingale, J. Abraham Hicks, I think it was. Also Tony Robbins. And yeah, the book The Seeker is really good. I think that's all I really needed.
I'm a huge believer in pretty much similar to what Samir was already talking about. I realized I actually didn't even know too much about the law of attraction. Like, I started finding out about it like after like I really got into personal development. I didn't start off personal development with law of attraction. The main purpose of law of attraction was to kind of use it to kind of like manifest things into like reality. And I personally just couldn't see like that happening for myself, just because I wasn't used to having anything anything that just happened, just for no reason. So I couldn't really wrap my head around it.
I would say even doing nothing is doing something, right?
Yeah, you're
like the 4 levels of action.
Exactly.
That Grant Cardone always talks about. There's such an action as doing nothing, then doing a little bit, and then doing normal levels of action, and then you got massive levels of action. And believe it or not, the most dangerous is doing average amounts of action. Just to add on to Juan's point right there is such a thing as doing nothing. So be careful of doing that, doing nothing. Nobody ever got paid from doing nothing.
You definitely don't want to do anything. I mean, usually I got Pluto here with me, and I think Pluto actually wants to chime.
Juan is the father.
Yeah, Pluto actually wants to chime in and say a thing or two. He was just actually letting me know before you guys turned the camera on, but
he was cranking some Facebook ads.
Yeah, he was getting real busy behind the laptop. But for us, the reason why you're able to get any type of results is because the information that we have available to us, we take it. We take it with a grain of salt. We don't try to absorb all of it, because obviously we might not be able to relate to all of it. So we take
the best, leave the rest.
Yeah, take the best and leave the rest. And ever since I learned, that's what I try to do. Because, like, for example, like, obviously we're big on going to conferences, reading books, going to getting online courses, seminars, all that stuff. But the truth is, if you try to absorb all of it, you may not retain all of it. So you want to
confused.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. Like when we go to like any of these conferences, some of these conferences are hours, or like all full days long. So there's no way that we can absorb all the information, right? So we pretty much go there looking for some key pieces that we can apply into our business right away, that we know have an impact, or that we can at least test out. Same thing with books, right? When we get these books, we're not trying to suck the whole book down page for page, right? We're trying to find 1 or 2 things that's a good pickup from the book, and then on to the next one. And the reason why we do that is because there's so many books out there, so much information out there, that if you try to just absorb all of it, you're just going to get caught up within it. So mainly just, when it comes to the resources, at least we recommend for anyone to learn from, either courses, books, whatever it is that you're going to learn from, at least those resources, again, you want to make sure you're getting the best information that you can take action on, and actually start to take action on it. Because what happens is we get overloaded with all this information, we start procrastinating, and then not end up doing anything.
Here's a really good example, right? We got students, we got the P2P dropshipping accelerator. We try not to let everybody and anybody in, right? Because we understand that it takes a certain level of mindset and a certain level of like commitment to make, a course or an educational program or a class or a book work for you, right? And so we got some kids that come into the P2P dropshipping accelerator, which you guys can check out right below, and all of a sudden they hit us up like 2 days later saying, hey, I want my money back. And we're like, yeah, for sure, like here it is. Take it back because you should have never been here in the first place. They say things like, oh, I came in here and it was some like content that I've heard of before, or I saw on your channel, or sometimes they say that it was not like 100% full of value. And I'm like, yeah, because it doesn't take too much to really just kind of dial you into the right place. Like some people only go through 20% of the course and they're saying it's not valuable. Dude, what if in the rest of the 80% you find that one golden nugget to change up your Facebook ads formula, or your Instagram shout out game, or your email marketing? That takes you from 0 to 10 grand a month. Or it takes you from 10 to 100 grand a month. But the problem is that a lot of people who come into it, and again, I'm not knocking anybody that's asked for a refund or whatever it is. We're not saying that, it's for everybody by any means. As a matter of fact, it's definitely not, right? It's for people who, are committed to their success. It's for people that, are actually investing in themselves, and they're looking for a blueprint that, actually works, as long as they work. I think that's kind of like the part where the disconnect happens a lot, is that most people who invest in these like educational programs and whatnot, and not just ours either, like I have a bunch of friends who sell digital products and do coaching and masterminds and stuff like that, and we share these stories all across the board. So the part where it works, or the content works, is you got to make sure that you're also working, right? Actually applying everything. And when you're listening to a lot of these people's like content and stuff like that, like for example Grant Cardone, when I was listening to a lot of his stuff, like some of the closes that he has in there just do not work for the type of product that I was selling. So I didn't like try to force it or ask Grant for my money back. I'm just like, dude, this one thing right here does not work for my career or my product. So I just didn't take it into my artillery. You know, it wasn't one of my main weapons that I pulled out every time I went out to do doors. So let's keep going here. So Grant Cardone played a huge part in sales, in my door-to-door sales career. Then when I started trying to make money online, that's where, you know, I started consuming a lot more content. And here's the thing, right? A lot of people say, oh, in today's world, you know, you got, you know, it's the world of, or the age of information and stuff like that. But the truth is that not all the content that's out there is valuable, or it's not valuable to you. And even a step further, it's not valuable to you at this certain point in time in your life. The age of information, I guess, is a double-edged sword, because you got, you know, people who actually know what they're talking about. Then you got people who have no idea what they're talking about. And you got people who are still trying to figure it out. And I feel like you can definitely learn, you know, something from everyone, even if it's how not to go about doing something. So you got to be careful. Like, for example, there was this girl that I talked to once. She was trying to build, you know, a Shopify store. And literally she was like, oh, you know, I haven't really invested in any programs or anything like that. I'm kind of learning from all the free content on YouTube. And as soon as she said that, I knew that I would be able to pinpoint as to why she was failing. So we started looking at some of her campaigns or whatever, and she was really struggling with Facebook ads. And literally one of the things that we tell our students to do, our main thing, right? She said that she was watching a YouTube video that told her not to do that specific thing. But she doesn't know what she doesn't know, right? She's just listening to someone. She saw he got a lot of views. She saw he had some subscribers and some videos, and she was like, okay, this dude must be legit. So you gotta be able to do your research on who you're absorbing content from. So definitely did that on Grant. You know, heard his story. I was able to relate. Quickly realized this dude knew what he was talking about. So I bought all his books, got into all of his programs, got all of his audio CDs, and that was my main go-to guy for sales. Then when it came to making money online, I started absorbing a lot of Russell Brunson's content. So Russell Brunson would do like live calls. He'll even have shit ton of videos on YouTube. Got real heavy into his content because it was all about building sales funnels, just understanding how, you know, you turn traffic into customers. So that's a really good one. I highly recommend you guys look into his stuff, especially like .com secrets, or he just released a new one, expert secrets and stuff like that. The third person that I really recommend is, let's see, Alex Becker, for sure. Alex Becker, I just started, you know, really consuming the majority of his content, but at first I was always dabbling with his content as well. He's real big on email marketing, so definitely make sure you guys check him out as well. Let's see, fourth person I would recommend personally would be, oh, of course, Ty. What am I thinking here? Yeah, Ty Lopez, 100%. Ty Lopez, funny story. So literally, I invested, because when I was going door to door, I was making like 3-4K a month, and it was really hard to save money and stuff like that. So although I'm not really a big fan of like saving money when you don't have anything to save, I took literally the 2 or 3 grand that I had in my bank account. I invested it all into his accelerator programs. And the reason why I did that, and literally Terry, his sales rep, I remember when I met him, just like at the 10K mastermind that we went to, it's like a couple months back. He was, because they have the database and stuff like that. So I was in his database, and he calls me up to take my order, or our order, for the 10K mastermind. And he was like, I was like, dude, Terry, I remember you, because he had a really strong English accent. I'm like, dude, I remember you. I'm not sure if you remember, but I called you a while back, and you know, 2.5 years or so ago, and I literally invested everything I had, and you gave me a discount because you felt so bad for me, and you know, you gave me access to like all the accelerator programs. So I've been following Ty Real for a while now. I personally believe that he's one of the greatest thinkers of our time, 100%. Right along the lines of like, you know, Elon Musk and stuff like that, just in a different space for sure. But he's the leading head honcho of like the personal development social media age. I'm actually real excited for the interview. You said they're gonna have an interview with Tony Robbins, Ty?
That's gonna be huge. Gonna be huge.
That's gonna be monstrous. So that's 4 right there. And then the 5th one that I would recommend is Samir Chibane. So make sure you smash that subscribe button, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below if you guys found this video helpful. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys got some value on how, you know, I kind of pick the people that, you know, I follow on YouTube.
He ain't got no money.